This is the second annual prevention conference. The Prevention in Partners Committee was really happy about the success of the conference last year. So of course we wanted to focus this conference this year on something that could assist our coalitions, because the committee is in place to assist our communities throughout Suffolk County.
I had the pleasure of sitting for a while on the planning committee that brought about today's Partners in Prevention conference, and being part of it. And what makes me so excited is oftentimes we wind up talking about treatment and different concerns to the issues as they relate to substance abuse. But what's most important, or where our focus really we'd love for it to shift, is more on a prevention standpoint.
One of the things that we've been focusing on within our individual coalitions in Suffolk County are ways to, number one, include youth in the work and what the research says works best.
I think the purpose of this was really just to give the participants here an example of what a very practical approach to working with youth around prevention and underage drinking in the community would be like.
And so what's great about today's conference is we're bringing together all the people who can make a difference with prevention. We know that prevention is our first line of defense when it comes to substance abuse. We know that substance abuse is 100% treatable and preventable. And with that in mind, what's so exciting is bringing together folks who are going to talk about how we prevent it, how we can make a difference both individually and collectively as a unit, and how we can make a difference in young people's direct lives and within change in the community.
So what we know is that alcohol marketing and youth is a huge problem in our communities.
Social media is one of the biggest influences on adolescents today as far as drugs and alcohol are concerned. Overall, it glorifies drugs and alcohol to young people without really explaining the damaging effects of what they're going to get involved in.
So the Prevention Resource Center set forth to come up with a group of people that could speak to the problem through research and through action. So we came up with a group of speakers that we felt would speak to this problem on both a national, local level.
We expect to start a momentum here today where we're giving accurate information. We're taking a look at how the media plays a major part in underage drinking and how we can go back as foot soldiers, educating our young people, educating our community, educating our school districts, and to begin to make a change and have that ripple effect happen.
Today I was happy to present to this prevention group of people, or people who are interested in prevention at any rate, a project that we worked on in the Shoreham, Wading River, and Rocky Point school districts through a grant from the United States Department of Education that included 2 evidence-based programs, Communities Mobilizing for Change on Alcohol and Project Success. And we focused today on the CMCA portion because it's an environmental strategy and that involves a coalition which was put in place to address the issue of underage drinking and trying to reduce that in both those areas.
We're very happy to have Kim Lowby here today, speaking of HUGS, and to talk about the environmental strategies that they did in the West Hampton Beach community. We're really excited about the fact that they did their parade alcohol-free zone, so we're really happy to hear Kim. Way to go.
And our coalition in West Hampton Beach has been around for about 5 years. And if you know West Hampton, you know that we're really well known for our St. Patrick's Day Parade, where people come from all over Long Island, and it's really a day of a lot of drinking. And families and young people don't necessarily like to be there as a result. So the last couple of years, our coalition said, hey, why don't we just create an alcohol-free viewing zone where families can come and sit and face painting and green bagels and just a sense of community without having to worry about beer spilling on your 6-month-old's head. So for the last couple of years, we've done this alcohol-free zone with a lot of success. We're going to begin to talk about that and highlight how just a simple thing on one day for just a couple hours began to elevate the level of awareness in our community.
Okay, and we also have Jared Anthony today. What an exciting thing to have him come all the way out from New York City, first time on Long Island, to talk about his environmental scan in the 2 communities of Bedford-Stuy and Harlem. Great research done, great data collected. We're really excited for Jared and to share that and the fact that we were able to share that with our communities.
So what brought me here, I think, is their need to have a very practical example of how to do environmental strategies and prevention within a community, specifically to really bring in youth and expose youth to some of the things that they're seeing in their community. I think that was that's really where the interest was at. Because a lot of times we hear the term environmental strategies and we don't automatically think of a specific example in terms of what that might look like in my communities.
We share workshops and presentations that we do. We do a lot of catching up with Jared in terms of what's going on in his neighborhoods, and we talk about what's going on in ours.
A lot of times when we think of prevention at a very traditional level, we're thinking at, this one-on-one, I'm gonna work with you to try to, or maybe it's 1-on-20, right? So an environmental strategy, the whole purpose of that really is to try to impact the entire community, as opposed to just having an impact on, 1, 20, 50, 100 people. We're saying, what is it that's going on in the community that is having an impact or that's allowing or supporting the alcohol-related behavior that we're seeing in terms of, consequences like underage drinking and driving, or kids that are, going to parties and getting in fights, right? What is it about the community that's allowing this to happen?
I knew Jared would be one of the key people that we'd want to turn to because he had an excellent example of environmental strategies in his communities.
And so what an environmental strategy is it's saying, how can we have an impact on the environment to be able to prevent some of these behaviors? So another, today I talked about an environmental strategy that really focused on advertising in the community, because advertising and alcohol advertising does have an impact on youth. But another environmental strategy would be the fact that, maybe that it's that the liquor stores and the restaurants and, they sell to youth. Right, so because they are part of the environment that are supplying and really supporting a negative behavior, another environmental strategy might be, how about we educate and make those vendors aware of not selling to youth, even though it's something that's illegal. We know that sometimes that sort of thing does go on.
We had Dr. David Jernigan from the Bloomberg School of Public Health today. Very pleased to have him here. He offered an array of information, research, details, and actual action plan that we can do now in our communities. We can take what he suggested. We saw the research, we saw the data, we saw the numbers, and now we can take that and help our communities go out into their communities and do some work.
So the highlight of our conference today is Dr. Jernigan, who is also, he's the director of Johns Hopkins Center on Alcohol Marketing and Youth. And what's great about his message is he's going to really bring forward the power that the marketing has and in the way that our young people are really victimized by the amount of ads they see. And it's really difficult when you try and give kids a message that says don't drink until you're 21, when all the media messages, whether it's in the magazines, whether it's at sporting events, whether it's in on television, all the messages are saying drink to have a good time. And unfortunately, young people aren't hearing the message enough that they can have a good time without the use of alcohol.
The way we look at it is you have to start somewhere. You have to get people kind of comfortable in the discussion. You have to get them like in the mode of what this all means. The awareness and the education piece usually has to start slowly. In order to dive right into, the policy piece is tough for most people. But when you start out with something gentle and easy to do, it gets people excited. And from there, you can gather more bodies and more people excited about the cause and take it to the next level.